Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Fact Homeschooling. Today we're going to be talking about style. A lot of us, a lot of parents spend a lot of time thinking about our children's learning styles. Are they auditory? Are they visual? Are they kinesthetic? Almost everybody's familiar with those ideas, and it's important to choose curriculum and to style your homeschooling structure around your child's or children's styles. That's not usually too much of a challenge. Sometimes it is, but usually, that's not such a big deal. There's so many choices nowadays that will guide you in how to tailor their curriculum to each of those things, or they'll just really be upfront, like, this is a great curriculum for fill in the blank. So that's not so much of a challenge, I don't feel like. If it is, Google searches will help with all kinds of stuff. I'm a big fan of Googling everything. Where sometimes the problem comes in, though, is for somebody who has not homeschooled before, or for somebody who's only been doing it for 20 years. The challenge can be assessing your own style, your own learning and teaching style, because let's not kid ourselves. We all like to think we're smarter than a third grader, but how many of us actually are? You're going to run into new material, particularly if you're trying to span the spectrum of all the subjects for your child. There's just stuff we don't remember, stuff we don't know, stuff we weren't taught in school when we were growing up, right? Our brains have cleared out so much information to make room for all the things that we have to do to survive day to day that, who knows. But so we have to kind of stop and take stock of what our style is in learning and in teaching. So in terms of learning, are you a kinesthetic, an auditory, or a visual learner? And how does that interface with your child? If your learning style is not the same as your child's learning style, you may have challenges there in understanding one another. Why can't you get this? This is a very common problem. It's easily addressed, though, if you can just really be mindful that your style might be different than your child's style, and just try to just be mindful of that. And if something's not jiving for you, try to find a different way of teaching it, another way of learning it yourself. And when it comes to preparing your school, you also kind of need to consider your style, just your kind of lifestyle. Do you love to prepare? Do you like to fly by the seat of your pants? Do you love paperwork? Do you hate it? Do you love spontaneity? Do you want everything planned out weeks in advance, or maybe a day in advance? Do you want to just sit down to it and be able to do it right then? That will guide you so much in buying your curriculum. And again, a lot of those, that's kind of a lot of parents' primary question is, how much prep time do I have to do? And so the curriculum companies are pretty good about putting that out there, about you're going to need 30 minutes a week, or 2 hours a week, or 20 minutes a day before you start teaching a given subject, in order to spend prepping and all that stuff. I do not like prepping. I like to just sit down to the work and just get to it. Something I need to work on. I have a few years left to perfect my technique. So, it's just not always easy for me to, figure out stuff ahead of time. I don't like to put the time into it, frankly. I feel like I spend hours a day doing this already. I don't want to spend more hours. Later on in other videos, we'll get into kind of how to do that more specifically. But, so being prepared to be flexible with how you teach and how you learn, and tailoring your curriculum to what works for you as a teacher as well as your child as a student. It's just an important thing to just kind of keep an eye on, keep your thumb on the pulse of that one if you can. And also balance. Just try to find balance in the learning, in the teaching, in the giving, in the taking, in all those things. It's just a balancing act in figuring out what works for everybody. Again, you can do online reviews for a lot of curriculum. I mean, probably all of it. And they will tell you things like that about, how much advanced prep it is and what kind of learner it's best suited for, and that sort of thing. And it's not too much rocket science, but it does take a little bit of mindfulness. Yeah. So next time we will be talking about organization and how to figure out what your organizational style is. Have a great day, everybody.